I did find myself pretty terrified coming out of the hospital. Mechanically, I felt very prepared, but mental health-wise, I did not feel prepared. And I immediately started having these symptoms of anxiety and worry and physical symptoms of another heart attack, but I didn't know whether this was real in terms of the heart trauma or whether it was more of a mental health challenge. And at one point, I got to a place sort of spiritually where I was like, maybe this is the night I'm going to die.
I never really envisioned that I was going to have a heart attack.
There is no faith. Heart attacks do not discriminate.
There's one thing I could tell my doctors, I want the full story.
I was afraid of dying. I was afraid for my family. I've had bouts of anxiety since I was a kid, and it came up again in the wake of the heart attack. I didn't sleep so well, and especially the first couple days. Every time I almost fell asleep, I would have this like surge of sensation in my chest, and it would radiate through my arms and my body, and I thought I might be having another heart attack. And yet I knew I might not be. I felt traumatized.
The preparation they gave me in terms of what the day-to-day care was going to be like was great, but no one prepared me for the anxiety that I was going to walk out of that hospital with. I remember coming home that night and the slightest feeling triggered me like it was going to happen again. And I ran out of my room at one point and told my husband, I think it's happening again, because I was just so scared. And that was something I battled, and I still till this day battle with, that I have to continuously work with.
When I first got home, I felt very alone, isolated. I was scared I was going to have another heart attack. I would sit there and cry because I said, how did I get to this point? The stress that was added was all the bills coming at one time. No member of my care team has explained to me that I was at risk within the first 90 days of having another heart attack.
On a daily basis, I think to myself, is today going to be the day that this happens again? So I probably live with a great deal of anxiety. If I could change one thing after the accident, I wish I could have met someone that had survived something very similar to what I went through, to give me their insight on what I was going through. I felt alone, unsure. Anybody out there that's been in a similar situation, you're welcome to pick up the phone and call me.
I got to see a counselor who was really great, helped me work through some of the deeper roots of the anxiety that I'd had. I also got anti-anxiety medications. Beyond that, I was getting support that I didn't even expect from my closest friends, but also a widening circle of people that I was telling what I'd gone through, and I found myself so buoyed by them. And so every time I did that, I felt a little less alone, a little less afraid.
I spoke to a therapist to help me to cope with what the feelings I had and my health and what steps I needed to take.
I wish more than anything I had started counseling immediately or found some support groups or something. I regret that. I still ask myself, why did I get to be the one to survive that? I don't know. May never know, but I'm going to do the best I can to live a quality life and give back to others.
They sent me to cardiac rehab, and I think that was huge in my recovery, because that was how I was going to relearn my new norm and get to know my body, and in a safe space where I could push myself. I spoke to a lot of friends. I connected with a Facebook group to kind of learn more and connect with people that had gone through my similar experiences. And we all shared the same fear. And there's survivors that are 15, 20 years out that are still in fear, but they live more empowered. And that kind of was like what clicked for me. I didn't want to live in fear.
The first 3 months after getting discharged from the hospital, I did not trust my heart. I didn't trust my health. Sometimes the most important thing, the strongest thing you can do is say you need help.